Hello, Creative Pro Wrestling fans. I was not in attendance for the most recent offering, which was Till Death Do Us Part, which took place back on September 7th, this, which was last Sunday. I was not in attendance because I don't do Sunday shows during football season. But it was streamed live on the Creative Pro YouTube, and I got to see the show, and I'll just go through it right with some results. We start out the show with Starstruck, Channing Thomas, and Anthony Green, accompanied by Sidney Bacabella, as they challenged the Shooter Boys, Anthony Vecchio and Aaron Ortiz, for the Tag Team Championship. Before the match got underway, Bacabella took the microphone and said something to Vecchio's mother, who was in the crowd. The match was on. The Shooter Boys defeat Starstruck at 9 minutes 25 seconds to retain the Tag Team Championship, and if that wasn't bad enough, the Shooter Boys got their hands on Bacabella after the match. I forgot who was holding Bacabella in place, but Mama Vecchio comes around, slaps Bacabella in the face, and pulls his wig off his head. Of course, Bacabella previously managed the artist Jake Lang, so I don't know if that partnership is over, because Jake Lang wasn't even on this very show. Right after the Shooter Boys went back through the curtain, Evil Kip comes out, gets the microphone from ring announcer Ryan Peterson, and he says, we were supposed to be the main event, but I'm not waiting. He wanted Bryce Donovan right then and there. Bryce comes out through the crowd, attacking him, and the match was on. Kip was not wearing his usual ring attire. This was a long-awaited contest, as Bryce turned on Kip all the way back at Celtic Pride back in March. Bryce Donovan defeated Evil Kip at 12 minutes 40 seconds. Up next was another singles matchup, as we saw Dante Drago Is the Best defend the television championship against the Silver Sniper, T.J. Crawford. Two great wrestlers went at it for this one. T.J. Crawford defeated Dante Drago at 10 minutes 6 seconds to become the new Creative Pro Wrestling television champion. After the match, not content with winning the TV belt, Crawford attacks Drago after it's over. He comes out, leaves the ring, grabs a chair, and I forgot if he used the chair or not, but out came Rockaboy Nick Robles, who made the save, and Crawford hightailed it out of the ring. Up next, we saw, making his return to Creative Pro Wrestling, Max Caster, as he took on the 2025 King of Cat Battle Royal winner, Leo Sparrow. Good match these guys had, where Leo Sparrow defeated Max Caster at 4 minutes 30 seconds. Alright. From there, we had what was definitely about to be a good match just on paper alone, as we saw VSK of the Adrenaline Express go one-on-one with TNA star Born Nasty Mike Santana. I believe this was Mike Santana's Creative Pro debut, unless I'm mistaken. Eventually, they went out to the floor, and Santana was VSK wide open for some fans in the front row to have a chop fest. VSK's, the other half of the Adrenaline Express, Eric James, came out, tried to interfere, but it didn't really help. Mike Santana defeats VSK at 15 minutes 37 seconds. It was at that point the show had gone to intermission. The show resumes as we have ourselves an 8-man tag team match, as we see Jay George, Liam Davis, as they Liam Davis joined forces with Pat Fitzpatrick and Jay Macias. Queens Gets the Money, as they did battle with CPA, Rockaboy Nick Robles, Just Joe, not Joey Legend from WWE, and the Sweeper, Eddie Pravetti, who made his return. Originally, CPA, Joe, and Robles were going to team with TK Wild, but I guess he couldn't make the show. But this was like a fun 8-man tag, and I forgot who, but someone revealed that Fitzpatrick was still bald. But CPA, Just Joe, Nick Robles, and the Sweeper, Eddie Pravetti, defeat Jay George, Liam Davis, and Queens Gets the Money at 7 minutes 6 seconds. And then it was a four-way matchup for the Creative Pro Championship. It was set to be the Dying Piece Aaron Rourke, Eric James, and Jack Tomlinson, accompanied the ring by his stunt double, Bobby Cassell, to challenge Bobby Orlando for the championship. Aaron Rourke's music plays, but out comes Jack Tomlinson, I think wearing something that Aaron Rourke would normally wear on his head. And Rourke did not come out for the match right away. It was just Tomlinson, James, and Orlando going after the title. Eventually, Rourke comes out. He goes after Tomlinson and chases him out of the ring into the back, and it was practically Orlando and James the rest of the match. And VSK came out. He tried interfering, but it didn't matter. Bobby Orlando pinned Eric James to defeat him, Aaron Rourke, and Jack Tomlinson at 13 minutes, 3 seconds to retain the Creative Pro Championship. But after the match, Leo Sparrow came to the crowd, attacks Orlando from behind, leaves him laying in the ring, and took the possession of the championship belt and left the ring with it. I forgot to mention, after the 8-man tag ended, newly crowned TV champion TJ Crawford, he goes after Rocker Boy Nick Robles. And then, after that, Orlando retained the belt and Sparrow beat him down, took physical possession. It was then time for the, I guess, the toxic wedding of Savvy or Sebastian Amore and the women's champion Latina Spice Nat Castle. Thing is, Dr. James Parker, came to the ring and said he was an ordained minister. He introduces the maid of honor, which is the general manager, Ariella Nix, and the best man, Ustik Susio. And then they introduced Amore. And then Nat Castle comes out. Instead of hearing "Here Comes the Bride," they play her entrance music, which is a tune by Cardi B. And she came out not only in a nice dress, but also wearing the Creative Pro Wrestling Women's Championship belt. So then they had spoken, they had their own wedding vows to speak to each other. And then Parker asks Amore, "Do you take Castle to be your wife?" And then Amore, let's just say he channeled his inner Rick Rude / Val Venus and said, "Yeah!" Parker then asks Castle, "Do you take Amore to be your husband?" And she channels her inner Rick Rude / Val Venus and says, "Yeah!" And then, hold that thought, folks. All right, as I said, and then Dr. Parker asks the crowd, asks if anybody here would have any objections that why these two should not be wed. Speak now, forever hold your peace. At that point in time, Rocker Boy Nick Robles and TJ Crawford come brawling back out through the curtain, and security's trying to break it up. Then all of a sudden, they brawl, and then all of a sudden they brawl back through the curtain. Then, once again, Parker asks the crowd, if there's anyone have any objections, speak now, forever hold your peace. And Bobby Orlando, he came through the crowd into the ring, and he wants Leo Sparrow to give him the belt, the physical possession of the belt back. Sparrow comes out through the curtain and says, the only way you're going to get your belt back is you give me a title match in Melville on November 1st. And Orlando agreed to that. And then Robles and Crawford come back out to the curtain again, brawling. They bump into Sparrow. The security crew's trying to break it up. Orlando climbs the top rope, dives onto Robles, Sparrow, Crawford, and the security crew. All right. Then from there, out come the Savage Gnomes, Gabby Forza, and a certain wrestler from Brooklyn. A certain wrestler from Long Island, New York, known as Bear Bronson. And they talk about they love weddings, and thing is, they point out some newlyweds in the crowd, and the camera, the ringside camera, like focused on them. I don't know if they were too thrilled or seemed embarrassed, and even I think Bronson went over there to, like, I don't know. I can't remember everything, folks. Especially since I wasn't even at this show. Okay? Okay, well, they announced to the crowd that the gnome, Savage Gnomes, Forza and Bronson, will be teaming up November 1st to do battle with Zachary Wentz. Not sure if the Rascals are still a tag team in TNA. And Priscilla Kelly, who was Gigi Dolan in NXT. From there, Bronson helps up one of the security crew members because they said they came bearing gifts, and they had a gift for Nat Castle. And this one poor sap, he finally gets up. It looked like I don't know, he obviously just, looked like his eyes were like glazed over, and he's trying to walk to the ring, and it seemed like he was limp as a biscuit. He hands the gift, that wrapped up gift, but then Amore kicks this poor guy out off the apron, and he goes back down to the floor, and then Nat Castle goes to open it up, and it was like, I don't know how many layers of wrapping paper were in it. At first, I thought they got her nothing. Eventually, it turns out it's an action figure of Shotzi Blackheart. And they announced that Shotzi's going to challenge Nat Castle for the Creator Pro Women's Championship in Melville on Saturday, November the 1st. All right? Okay, from that point in time, Bronson says to Ariel and Nick, somebody's not very happy with you. And out came the Dominican Destroyer Vargas. I don't know if he was wearing a tie or not, but he came out in his gear and face paint on. And what happened was, let's just say, Bronson had told Gabby, might want to get out of the way. But Vargas, he sees the security crew in the way, and let's just say Vargas came out the security crew and basically knocked them over like a bunch of bowling pins. Or as Al Bundy would say, Steve Rake! And at that point, Vargas and the Gnomes hit the ring. Vargas went after Sucio. Bronson went after Amore. Gabby went after Nat Castle. And all that time, Dr. Parker's just standing in the ring. And by the way, before the ceremony began, I think Amore handed him looked like some kind of a, I don't know if it was supposed to be a heart-shaped hat or something. He made him put it on. And, let me see. They're going at it, and eventually, let me see here, wow. It was a Pier 6 brawl. Orlando, Sparrow, Crawford, and Robles, they come back out brawling again. Nat tries to hit, I believe, Forza with her high heel, but she ends up hitting Dr. Parker. Just knocked him for a loop. And at that point, before she accidentally hit him, he gets up and says, I now pronounce you... Well, actually, he didn't say that yet. Hold it, I'll get to that shortly. And then I think Forza gives Castle a jackhammer. Sucio gives Gabby the Uranagi. Bear Bronson grabs... hits Sucio with that double choke slam. I remember the late Big Dick Dudley used it. He called it total penetration. A-Train used it. He called it the derailer. Let's see. Then T.J. Crawford kicks Bronson from behind. Robles grabs Crawford, gives him some kind of takedown move. I don't know what he calls it. Actually, it's the finishing move the late Jimmy Rave was known for. Can't remember what Rave called it. Okay. From there, I think Amor nails Robles from behind or something. Vargas, he gets the ring. He's gonna give Amor a choke slam, but Ariel and Nix brought it, came a chair that hits Vargas in the back, but Vargas, you know, didn't really react to it, and then Vargas started making a beeline to chase Ariella to the back, and as he's trying to catch a hold of her one more time, the Vargas went to the security crew like a bunch of bowling pins, or as I said, or as Al Bundy would say, Steve Rake. Okay, let's see. And then at that point, I know there's so much in this chaotic wedding here. Then all of a sudden, Slade comes out with a door, and he sets it up in the ring. And at that point, Dr. Parker is still finally gets up from taking that high heel from Nat Castle to the head. And he says on the microphone, I now pronounce you husband and wife. You may now kiss the bride. And I don't know if he was about to kiss Slade, but Slade grabs him. Slade chokeslams Amor. Castle, she gets to the ring and she slaps Slade in the face. Then eventually Gabby Forza gets a hold of the cake that this one young lady brought to the ring. And let's just say Forza cake faces, not kayfabe, cake faces Castle in the face with the cake, and got all over her dress too. And eventually, then at that point, Gabby speared Castle through that door, and you see Gabby, Bronson, Vargas, Orlando, Robles, they're all basically eating whatever's left of that cake, and you hear that post-wedding music, but Amor and Castle did not kiss, so eventually leave the ringside area, and that's how the show ended. So you would think that whole wedding was like that could have been a scene in the movie Wedding Crashers, which was a movie I never got to see. Wow. But obviously, based on the everybody that came out and just all the disruptions, I mean, I guess that was telling us what we can expect for Creative Pro Wrestling in the upcoming shows, because Creative Pro Wrestling will return to action Saturday, October 4th, as they present Base Brawl, which is taking place. Hold that thought, folks. Okay, hold it. Whew. Yes, Creative Pro Wrestling presents Base Brawl Saturday, October 4th from the Brookside Educational Center in North Merrick, New York. It's 7:30 p.m. Bell time, and announced to appear so far are TNA star Brian Myers, Merrick's own Matt Cardona returns to Creative Pro. Also, WWE Hall of Famers Bubba Ray and Devon Dudley, who will also be partaking in a meet and greet. Also, Busted Open Radio host Dave LaGreca will be in attendance. And based on the flyer, also appearing will be Nanomi Gabby Forza, Rocker Boy Nick Robles, Leo Sparrow, the King of CAPW 2025, Women's Champion Nat Castle, both members of Adrenaline Express, EJ Risk, and VSK. No matches are announced as of this recording. No matches were announced yet for that show. Now, as stated earlier, Creative Pro Wrestling returns to All Sports in Melville Saturday, November 1st, as they present Brawloween, which is the night after Halloween. Now, I don't know if they'll do even though it's going to be the night after Halloween. Will the Halloween costume rumble take place on this night? But already match is already announced for that particular show. We have Shotzi Blackheart making her Creator Pro debut, and she will be challenging Nat Castle, Latina Spice for the Women's Championship. Also, Bobby Orlando defends the heavyweight title against Leo Sparrow. And of the Savage Gnomes, Gabby Forza and Bear Bronson do battle with Zachary Wentz and Gigi Dolan. But I wonder, as far as Robles and Crawford, Crawford's the TV champion. We know that issue is far from over, but I don't know if they'll go at it November 1st or October 4th. And also, looks like maybe Aaron Rourke will go one-on-one with Jack Tomlinson, maybe for Tomlinson's Mayhem medal. I would like to see for November 1st the Shooter Boys defend the tag belts against the Adrenaline Express, Eric James and VSK. And, oh, another thing, Creator Pro Wrestling. I know you probably got plans ahead for 2026 already, but I'm wondering if you're going to do, usually in December, you do a show called Frostbite. Normally you do it in Hicksville. I wish you would do that one, maybe do that show in Lynbrook in December, but maybe, I mean, if you do in Lynbrook in December, hopefully it's a Friday or a Saturday, because as I stated, I don't do Sunday shows during football season. But I will say, although I was not in attendance for Till Death Do Us Part, it was a very good show, especially those shenanigans of the wedding. And I must say, to all three members of Los Toxicos, apparently the three of you must be doing something tremendous, because not only to have this wedding, but also earlier this year, having a show named after you, Toxication, and no doubt in my mind, Susio and Amor will eventually be tag team champions someday. And Nat Castle is currently women's champion. Hopefully there'll be more women. I don't know if there's any women being trained right now. And also, I wish Ariella Nix would get back in the ring someday. I mean, she's been Creator Pro this month, here in September 2025. This month marks 3 years she's been general manager of Creator Pro. But I wish she'd wrestle more often. Okay? But again, hats off, Creator Pro. You did great with this event, even though I was not there. And I sure hope to be, I don't know about October 4th. Hopefully I'll be there November 1st in Melville. And, you know, again, usually in December you have a show called Frostbite, and you normally do that in one in Hicksville. I don't know if I'll make that one, no matter what. If it's not on a Saturday, I mean, if it's not on a Sunday, maybe I'd make that one. Okay, so CAP, CAP, CAP.